The remaining Saiyans of planet Vegeta have migrated to another planet, hoping to save themselves from the remaining Frost Demons. It has been quite a few years since the defeat of King Cold, with the Saiyan who defeated him, Bardock, training every day in case the Frost Demons arrive. He's contemplated going out to bring his children back home to him, though he knows that if he brings them here, they're in grave danger if Frieza ever finds them. Plus, he's not too sure if they'll be strong enough to even help. It's better if they stay on Earth with Guinea to grow stronger there. What these guys need right now is to try and bring the Saiyan princes back to them. They're not quite sure how the princes ended up in Frieza's care, but Vegeta, Tarbell, and Broly have been working under him for these past few years, taking over many planets and turning them into new Frieza planets. Queen Cassava has been wanting her children back very badly, as her sons being forced to work under Frieza is a disgrace to the Saiyan name, and has been begging Bardock to get them back. He's been putting it off for some years now since he wanted to get stronger in his Super Saiyan form first, and now that he thinks he's reached the peak of his power, he decides now is the time to get the princes to join them. Bardock gathers up his squad and journeys out to the last known location where Saiyans happen to be located by their intel. It takes a few days to get to the planet, and once they do, the crew steps out and lowers their battle power, that way the others can't detect them. While surveying the planet, they discover that the planet seems to be dying. The world is decaying all around them at a rapid rate, which worries them greatly. Has Frieza come up with another way of destroying planets? They eventually discover the source of the planet's decay, a gigantic tree in the middle of the planet, sapping the world of its energy. The Saiyans are confused, as how is this tree able to take up so much power? From behind the tree, 6 figures step out. Turles and his Crusher Core. Turles looks to Bardock, shocked. He thought that him and the other Saiyans were killed by Frieza years ago. He's actually happy to see him, as he was a huge inspiration to him when he was a young Saiyan. He even modeled his hair after him as a sign of rebellion. Bardock says he's flattered, and asks how he's out here and if he works for Frieza. Turles explains that he was sent out as a child by King Vegeta, and left abandoned by the other Saiyans he was sent with. He was lost until he was found by the Heaters, and has been working for them for the past few years now, overtaking planets with the Tree of Might. The Heaters. Bardock remembers those guys. He recalls beating that snot-nosed brat nearly to death, saying that if he's working for the Heaters, then he's an enemy to them. Turles laughs, saying that may be so, but he has no intention of fighting him. Once he is strong enough to overtake the Heaters, he'll take them over and rule in Elect's place. The two form a truce, with Bardock asking Turles if he can watch out for the princes and try to find where they're located and if they can track them down. With the intel that Turles is able to get from the Heaters, they're able to find that the princes are on a nearby planet. Bardock's crew and Turles' crew go out to meet with them, encountering them in a tavern. Vegeta is shocked to see Bardock, asking him how he's still alive. Bardock tells him they've been hiding from Frieza and his men for these past few years, and that they're going to need them to come back to them, and abandon Frieza. Vegeta laughs, calling him a disgrace to the Saiyans for having to hide out. Him and his brothers went to Frieza directly, and under him have become stronger than ever. They can continue to hide out for all he cares, but under Frieza, he'll be better than these low-class trash will ever be. Bardock decides to shut the prince up by transforming into a Super Saiyan, blowing almost everybody in the bar back. Vegeta is indeed shocked at seeing Bardock being able to use this form himself, saying he didn't expect a low-class warrior to access this form as well. Bardock is confused. As well, what does that mean? Vegeta stands up and transforms into a Super Saiyan as well. Bardock is the one surprised by this. How is that possible? He thought he was the only one who could transform into a Super Saiyan. Vegeta laughs after seeing the expression on his face. His brother, Broly, is the legendary Super Saiyan, and after training with him for years and training with Frieza as well, he was able to access this power for himself, and become one of the first Super Saiyans. Now, if he doesn't want to die today, then he suggests to get out of the tavern. Bardock isn't taking no for an answer and rushes Vegeta, trying to get him to join them by force. Turles, Tarbell, and Broly watch as the two battle it out, with Broly itching to join the fight. Tarbell tells him to stand down though, as if he gets too worked up, then the whole planet could be destroyed. The two Super Saiyans battle it out, with Vegeta being put on the back foot to his surprise. Vegeta has only had access to this form for a brief amount of time, as Bardock has had years to perfect the form to the best of his ability, making him used to all of its drawbacks. Vegeta may have been able to talk a good game, but when it comes to raw power, Bardock has him severely outclassed. Bardock slams Vegeta down to the roof of the bar, reverting Vegeta back into his base. Bardock tells Vegeta he's outclassed, and if he comes with them, he can gain enough power to take down Frieza himself. Vegeta laughs, saying he just doesn't get it. He may have amazing power, but it's nothing to Frieza. He'd kill him with just one blow, especially since through their battle, he was able to tell Broly could do the same. Vegeta gives Broly the signal, and Broly erupts into his legendary Super Saiyan form. The bar is completely destroyed with his power, and Broly begins to beat the absolute crap out of Bardock. Bardock is barely able to fight back, as the legendary Super Saiyan's hits are too fast and furious for him to counter. He's actually going to die. Turles can't allow this to happen, so he pulls out a fruit from the Tree of Might, eating it and exploding in his own power. Turles rushes in to hit Broly with a surprise attack, knocking him off of his balance enough so he can take Bardock and rush away. Broly takes off at top speed after them, almost catching up, but Turles takes out another fruit, eats it as fast as he can, and bursts off even faster thanks to the boost, zigzagging fast enough to lose Broly, who, thankfully, can't sense energy. The Saiyans then take off from the planet before they're found. Right as they escape, they see the planet behind them blown to smithereens. It seems Broly's rage got the better of him, and he blew up the planet, trying to kill them for good. Turles knows that won't be the last they see of those Saiyans, however. When the group returns to the new Saiyan planet, Bardock breaks the news to Cassava that Vegeta and Broly are now Super Saiyans as well, and are fully under Frieza's control. If they want to defeat Frieza, then they'll have to kill her kids to do it. Cassava is disgusted with her sons for their betrayal, and is fine with them having to die if it means Frieza will die as well. Bardock thanks Turles for saving him, and offers him a place to stay on his planet. Turles appreciates the offer, but has to get back to the heaters sooner or later, or he'll be branded as a traitor as well. He'll make sure to keep in touch though, and if the great Bardock ever needs anything again, to make sure to call. Turles and the Crusher Corps take off, with Bardock wondering how they're going to defeat Frieza now. On Earth, the kids have been training under Master Roshi for the Tenkaichi Budokai, or the World Martial Arts Tournament. Everybody has gotten a lot stronger, including Kakarot. He was already stronger than pretty much everybody here, but due to his training, he was able to become more skilled as well, which buffed up his already insane potential. Goku, Chi-Chi, and Mark have excelled into Kakarot's league too, which has given him better training partners and actual friends. He still finds it so weird to be a normal kid after being nothing but a weapon for all these years. He enjoys bonding with his sister, though there is just a part of him that feels like this isn't what he's meant for. He shakes off the feeling, but he knows he won't be a family kid forever. Back in West City, Raditz and Bulma have been doing fine in their relationship together, though Bulma has gotten pretty jealous over the new girl that Raditz has been teaching lately, Launch. He managed to save her from a bank robbery gone wrong, and for some reason, she latched onto him and wanted to train. Bulma senses that this girl has some ulterior motives, but can't quite place her finger on it. The jealousy of him training another girl makes her want to train too, but she knows she's not much of a fighter. Training is indeed interesting to her, but she's not down with just doing it herself. If she wants to be a fighter, she'll do it her own way, with her smarts. She designed some ideas for battle armor, an armor that would be able to keep up with Raditz. The armor can protect her from bullets, and if she makes it advanced enough, then it can protect her from energy blasts that Kakarot can produce too. Ever since the Red Ribbon Army was disbanded after Jiro was killed, Capsule Corp has been able to get some more of their tech lately. So, Bulma has been able to get her hands on some of the technology that Jiro used to make his robotic creations. She only starts off with some basic designs, rocket gloves and rocket boots. And to her surprise, she's able to use the gloves to fire energy blasts of her own. With this new technology, she channels these blasts into her rocket boot so she can fly for a long period of time with them. She's proud of her creations so far, but still knows she can't fight with just gloves and boots. So, when she has time, she'll do her best to make the rest of the armor so she can prove to Raditz how skilled she is. She won't be able to continue now, since the World Tournament is up, and her, Raditz, and Launch head out to support Goku and Kakarot. Raditz wasn't originally planning on competing in the tournament, but decides why not, since maybe he'll be able to fight with his brother once more, and they can see who is truly the strongest. Launch follows after him in joining too, since she's gotten stronger through training, so might as well see what she can do. This makes Bulma even madder, and she vows that she'll have that armor completed by the next tournament so she can prove to Raditz that she's better. The squad is able to move on through the preliminary matches pretty easily, with pretty much everybody making it into the qualifying rounds. Launch wasn't able to make it in, unfortunately, though she knows that if she was in her blonde form, then she would have made it. She could have made herself sneeze, but didn't want to scare Raditz by showing him her other personality already. Though, there are 3 other opponents who made it in too. 2 of them they've never seen before, an old man named Jackie Chun and a desert bandit named Yamcha. Yamcha seems kinda nice, but harsh, and he does his best to stay away from all the women around for some reason, while Jackie is the complete opposite. The third one though, they do recognize. Krillin. Krillin comes up to mock the group once more that while they were off training with that loser Roshi, he went off and found an even better master, Master Shen of the Crane School. He learned much more with him than he ever would have with Roshi, and can now even fly. Krillin flies around the room attempting to intimidate the others. That is until Goku and Kakarot fly off the ground too, saying flying isn't that hard. Krillin goes red with anger, telling them it doesn't matter. With his new abilities, he's gonna kick their butts. He flies off angrily as the announcer begins saying who's gonna fight who. The matches are decided, with it being Match 1, Raditz vs Krillin, Match 2, Goku vs Yamcha, Match 3, Chi-Chi vs Mark, and finally, Match 4, Kakarot vs Jackie Chun. The first match begins with Raditz facing off against Krillin. Raditz is kind of amused as this bald human really thinks he stands a chance against him. Well, he's in for a surprise. Krillin can tell that this guy is really strong, so is able to use his flight and small size to dodge out of the way of Raditz's attacks. Raditz begins to get really annoyed that he can't hit this little punk, and decides not to hold back as much so we can get him out of the ring. Because of his annoyance, Raditz is getting sloppy, which is exactly what Krillin was hoping for. Krillin is able to sneak in behind him and grab Raditz's tail as hard as he can. Raditz freezes up instantly and falls over in pain. The others look on in horror as Krillin is laughing maniacally. He squeezes Raditz's tail some more and then throws him right out of the ring to everybody's surprise. Krillin has won. Goku asks him how he knew that the tail is their weak point, with him saying that when they were training together, he noticed Mark hit Goku's tail once and she almost passed out. He then figured these freaks should all have the same weakness, and he was correct. Raditz is embarrassed that he lost so easily, with Bulma doing her best to comfort him. Goku steps into the ring next, eager to win her match so she can defeat Krillin and avenge her brother. Yamcha and Goku get ready to duke it out, with Goku outmatching Yamcha at almost every turn. The bandit is impressed with this little girl's power, and uses his most powerful attack, the Wolf Fang Fist on her. Goku didn't expect Yamcha's speed to increase that much with the attack, and she is rocked by the hit. Goku goes flying back, and as Yamcha rushes towards her, she blasts a burning attack straight at him, blowing him right out of the ring. Yamcha is surprised at the power in that attack, and disappointed he didn't see it coming. Goku comes over to help him back on his feet though, thanking him for the good fight. Yamcha smiles back, happy that this girl is so nice to him. After that match, we have Chi-Chi versus Mark. The two bow to each other and begin the fight. The two are pretty evenly matched, trading blows and neither budging. It seems they're a little too evenly matched, with the fight lasting a pretty long time. The only difference is that Chi-Chi has the size advantage of being a lot smaller than Mark, so she can slip past his blows a little easier. This ends up being his downfall, as she's able to land a few extra hits on him, and he is knocked out. When he comes to, Mark is depressed that he lost again, and to a girl this time. His ego is pretty badly bruised, so he decides to just go out for a walk to try and clear his head. As that is happening, the final match of round 1 begins with Kakarot versus Jackie Chun. Jackie Chun, of course, is Roshi in disguise, and he's worried about fighting Kakarot in the first round, but has been training ever since their last battle to try and instill the lesson in Kakarot that there is always somebody stronger. The two begin their fight, and right off the bat, Jackie knows he made a big mistake. Kakarot was already stronger than him before their first fight, and after training with everybody else in the group, he's only gotten much stronger. He thought that he was able to train enough to surpass him, but he was very wrong. He's not in the kids' league anymore. Kakarot is able to completely wipe the floor with Jackie without breaking a sweat. he seems disappointed in the old man, as he thought he was skilled, but not skilled enough for him. Kakarot beats Jackie extremely easily, with Roshi now worried that these victories will go to his head and he'll always believe himself to be the strongest that there is. After a brief break, round 2 begins, starting with Goku versus Krillin. Goku is eager to get revenge for her brother and rushes Krillin. Krillin's size isn't going to help him this time, as the two are the same height, forcing him to have to try more in this battle. As the two go at it, Krillin realizes that Goku is much more powerful than him, and he has to resort to grabbing her tail, just like he did for Raditz. Goku planned for this and is able to kick Krillin away, and then shove her tail in her pants, saying that if he wants to grab her tail, then he has to put his hand in her pants, which counts as sexual harassment, so unless he wants to get put on a list, she suggests he keep his hands out of there. Infuriated, Krillin tries to fire a Dodonpa to blast her out, but she catches the beam, throwing it right back towards him. The beam hits him right in the head, sending him toppling over. Goku jumps up and lands her knees right on his stomach, causing him to spit up blood. Holding his chest in pain, Goku is able to lift Krillin up the same as he did Raditz, and throw him right out of the ring. She sticks her tongue out at him, saying that was for her brother. Krillin is about to jump back into the ring to attack her again, but Shen yells at his pupil to stop. He says that she won fair and square, and that he's a disappointment to the Crane School. He was a fool for accepting him as his student, and if he ever steps foot in their dojo again, he'll hire his brother to take him out. Krillin begs for forgiveness from his master, but Shen kicks him away and departs. Krillin sits there, trying not to cry in front of everybody, with Goku coming over to try and comfort him. He slaps her hand away, telling her to leave him alone as he flies off in the opposite direction, unsure of what to do now. After that depressing match, the next fight is between Chi-Chi and Kakarot. The two have a good match, with Chi-Chi going into it, already knowing she's going to lose, but she still tries her best to impress Kakarot since she kinda has a crush on him. Kakarot is of course nice to her since she's nice to him and doesn't completely destroy her. Of course he has to hold back a lot, but is still able to give Chi-Chi a good match, even if he forces her out of the ring in the end. Finally, it's time for the final bout. Goku versus Kakarot, sibling versus sibling. The two get into their fighting poses and rush each other. Kakarot obviously has a strength advantage, with Goku having the skill. She's been training longer than he has with different teachers, so she's able to maneuver around and deal more hits than he is able to. Kakarot gets annoyed at this and fires a Kamehameha right at his sister to throw her out. Goku retaliates with a burning attack, and the two have an extremely immense beam struggle. Both hold on, pushing their attacks with all they have, as the sheer power is blowing everybody back into stands. The beams explode, with Goku and Kakarot sent flying back. They're able to stay in the ring, but are both tired after the rough beam struggle. Goku had used more power than Kakarot did due to the sheer power of the burning attack, so is much weaker when the two begin to fight once more. The battle ends with Kakarot victorious and winning the entire tournament. Goku is disappointed that she lost, but has learned a lesson that there is always going to be somebody stronger than her, no matter how hard she tries, so she always needs to keep up with her training. Kakarot, however, has learned no such lesson, with the tournament ending how he expected it to, with him as the victor. He didn't even get to fight Raditz, who he was hoping to fight and test his new skills on, but he was taken out by the puny Krillin. How disappointing. He doubts there's anybody else on this planet that will be able to give him a proper challenge. Kakarot wins the prize money, and the group wonder what they will do now. Goku tells Roshi and her mom that she wants to go and find Krillin. He may be a jerk, but she feels bad that he was kicked out of 2 schools, and maybe if she can talk to him, maybe he'll become one of their friends. Gine is proud of her daughter for still seeing good in people, so tells her to go for it. Kakarot has had enough training with Roshi and decides to stay in West City with his mothers and brother. With his brother, maybe he can have a proper fight eventually. If Kakarot is staying in the city, then Chi-Chi wants to as well, with Mark actually deciding to stay with Roshi. That way, he can grow stronger and be able to beat Chi-Chi. The group all go their separate ways, with Goku using the Nimbus Cloud Roshi gave her to go and find Krillin. As she flies around looking for him, she is shot down from the air by a rocket launcher and lands hard on the ground. She weakly sits up, wondering what happened, as she's stabbed in the neck by a needle. She slaps the needle out of her neck and turns to see Javo is the one who stabbed her. She goes to attack, but is suddenly feeling really woozy. The drugs kick in fast, causing Goku to pass out. Javo picks her up and brings her back to his lab, saying she's the key to bringing Jasper back. And with that, we're gonna be ending this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed catching up with Bardock, Vegeta, and the rest of the group on Earth. This series is very fun to write, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Remember to share it around with Masako and the others to try and get more traction for it. And if you liked it, make sure to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss the next part. Before I go, it's time to give a shout out to all of my amazing patrons as well. As in the official patron tier, we have Crazed PlayStation CK, Nathan, BBB, and Bossmaker. In the Moving Up in the World tier, we have Dreadpool, Patrick Sandlin, John Lister, Boris, David Monroe, Sinshenron92, Oak Woodtree, Ogata Shiba, Monal, Eric Doss, Sonic, Blake Foyer, Jared Guzman, Matthew Garcia, Vegito Gaming 72, True Lightning Striker, Joseph Calvin Liu, and Semroth. In the VIP patron tier, we have Always Zero, 11726, and Quintess Shepard. And finally, in the God tier, we have Tony Kage. Thank you especially, Tony Kage. And thank all the rest of my patrons too, as you guys really help to keep this channel going. And thank all of you at home for watching, and until we meet again. See you later!